Hi, I'm Nicole, and as you have probably guessed, I have ADHD. I live and breathe all things ADHD in my personal, family, and professional life. I have a background in psychology and special education, and I've gained a lot of knowledge over the years about ADHD, what it really is, how it touches every aspect of your life and the life of your child, as well as a wealth of information and strategies for living with ADHD and parenting kids with ADHD. In this community, we share stories, we learn together, and we support each other as we navigate all things ADHD. Welcome.
Hey, I fixed it. I'm not professional enough at this to remember how to make everything work when I have to take my camera off to do other things. But I am official marching band team photographer for my son's marching band this year, which means I will be taking down my camera frequently and having to set it back up. So hopefully by the end of marching season, I will be a professional, at least that part of it. Welcome, welcome. It has been a minute because summer is my kryptonite. It is complete and utter chaos around here. I do my best to put in systems to start the summer with to help us all have routines and structure and good systems in our lives. But typically, about halfway through July, they all fall apart. Excuse me. And then it's just chaos for the next month. This year, I was so overloaded with work when we started summer that I never really got our full systems in place. So that didn't help. And it was just compounded by the fact that I'm trying to squeeze in work hours here and there in the day with constant disruptions for my children who are fighting each other or just generally need support. And as I've mentioned before, my biggest executive function weakness is task initiation. So I would get started on something for work or whatever. I get interrupted a million times. And every time I'm interrupted, I have to start that cycle over of starting the new task. It's just my personal hell summer. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with it because there are things that we do in the summer that I really love, but a lot of those things didn't happen this year and I felt really bad. I was not the mother that I like to be in the summer. active getting my kids out of the house. Now, granted, my two older kids are older, and they don't necessarily require as much like entertainment from me. What are you doing back there, Charlotte? Got Charlotte behind us. So there's not as much incentive for that, but my youngest is 7, and I just did not do a good job of getting him out of the house and off of screens as much as I would like to this summer. Just is what it is. Everything else, it was just too much for me to do. Last year I hired a neighborhood gal who's 18 or 19 to just take my kids places while I got some work done. But behaviorally, my youngest has been struggling for the last year, and I now require for him someone who has a little bit more experience working with kids who are like that. Unfortunately, not in the place where I can afford people who are kind of professional nannies who know how to handle the types of behaviors that we're dealing with. Next summer, that should be happening, but with everything the way it was in the clinic this year, it just wasn't possible. So I wasn't the mom that I wanted to be this summer. And my kids spent way more time on screens than I would have liked. And the thing that had to take a back burner was this channel. But now they're all back in school all day. And I'm working on getting myself into a good block routine schedule, which we'll talk about a little bit today, and then I'll go further into in the future on its own, either live stream or video. I'm hoping to be here regularly, live at least once a week, and then shorts and pre-recorded videos in between. Still working all that out as I am still getting caught up on my backlog of work from the summer and adding some new employees to our clinic, which is really exciting and really awesome, but has required a lot from me in the transition. So transitions is the topic of the day. Oh, Charlotte is doing amazing. Charlotte, see if you can see her. Come here. Yeah, you're a bad girl. She's getting very big. You see her back there? My camera focus on her. She officially started her public access training last week, and her first session, she absolutely blew us all away, crushed it. We need to stop being surprised by how amazing she is. But she totally crushed it. She's early in her training process to be at the point where she can start public access, and then she is just completely crushing public access. So we got her official vest, and so now we're working on her learning that when the vest is on, it's work time. She's doing great. We're looking forward to the next step of training once we have 5 weeks of public access training, and then she takes a public access test. And then we can start working on her task training, which I'm very excited for that process, because the rest of this has been behavioral stuff that I'm somewhat familiar with, having had dogs and gone through training before, although not this intensely. And she's better at it than any dog I've ever met before in my life. She's amazing. She does get a little bit stubborn. She has her days where she wants to test and make sure that we're really going to hold her to what we've asked her to do, especially with the kids. But she is the service dog for my 7-year-old. And so he's been coming with me to group classes so that we can work on her responding to him and taking his commands seriously. But she is doing incredible. She can't go to school yet, but she does an amazing bus stop drop off every morning and pick up in the afternoons. And their little relationship is just such a beautiful thing. So I'm excited to share more about that process as we move through public access and start working on task training, so that hopefully I can show a little bit of what that process is like for training them to tasks. I've never done that part before, so I really have no idea what to expect. Body doubling streams. Yes. So what I want to do 1 day a week of like more of a talk stream where we go through articles, where it's like more of an education stream. And then at least one day a week with body doubling. Trying to work that. I've been trying to go into the physical office at work more rather than working from home. Just because we've been onboarding some new employees and I need to be there, and it has been helping me to get into routines of getting work done. But as I figure out kind of my schedule, I'm planning on going into the office 2 days a week and then working from home the rest of the days of the week. So on those days, I would love to do body doubling streams, and make them a little more structured. I have plans for them. It's going to be a work in progress, and we'll see how it goes. And I will put some surveys on the community page to figure out what days and times work best for you. I don't want to compete with, the streams that I like to watch as my own body double. So that makes things a little interesting. But yeah, I'm here. I was a little bit late and I wasn't ready. And that's kind of how I roll, because if I wait until I'm completely ready, I won't ever do it. So sometimes I have to just commit myself and be like, well, I'm going to be there and I'm going to show up as I am. And today that meant the camera wasn't working when I started. But you are all unfailingly kind. So, and other news, I mentioned on stream before that I was meeting with a functional medicine doctor to address my autoimmune conditions and try a little bit of that East meets West, since Western medicine has not been entirely helpful in that arena. Yeah, I don't want to clash with EDB either, because I like to watch EDB. So since she usually streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think that will work out, because I know Mondays and Wednesdays are going to be days that I need to work from home, because those are the days that I have to do after school carpool. So I think we're going to be doing pretty well that way. I'm glad to know this time is good for you. Yeah, I think my more traditional live stream are going to do, like my informative educational live we'll do on Wednesdays. I think Monday is a good day for body doubling, because it's always hard to get into a week. And then we'll go from there. So that's kind of what I'm tentatively thinking. I'm still working through figuring out my schedule, my block schedule, my planning, and all of that. And as I go through that, I'll do some recordings on that. The video I'm planning to record today is the first in a series of planner reviews. I'm going to start with student planners, since this is the time of year when kids are starting up. And then I'll do a lot of the student planners are kind of crossovers. I find them really useful for work too. Some of them more than others. So I'll review a few of my favorite student planners first. And then as we get towards the end of the year, when people are looking at buying their new calendar year planners, I'll look at a few more of the adult planners. But for me, this time of year is not just a transition time for the kids, but it's a transition time for all of us. It's a time that even if you're no longer in school or you don't have kids in school, fall is, every year you used to go back to school in September. And so for us, it's like mid-August, but whatever. And if you're in Arizona, you go back in July. But traditionally, the world goes back to school around this time of year. And so I feel like our bodies are naturally trained to this transition as we head into fall season, of kind of regrouping after the summer and getting back on track. It's just a good time to put in new systems, to switch things up. I feel like September and the beginning of the year, New Year's, and then spring as you head into summer are the 3 times a year that I really like hunker down and try and either set up something new because my brain needs something novel, refine what we've been working that's fallen to the wayside, and just regroup for what this next period of life is going to be. It was always around those 2 baseball seasons for us too, except for my boys are no longer playing. They were playing competitive baseball. So it was baseball ran our lives for 12 weeks in the spring and 10 weeks in the fall. Right now it's marching band season for my oldest that is running our lives. So, which is more intense for him and not quite as intense for the rest of us. Okay, back to what I was saying. Sorry. something shiny. That's when I need to put this on, right? Where to go? I remember how to do these. Yay, ADHD, back on track. So, functional medicine doctor, it's been hard. It's really hard to go through summer and not have any popsicles or ice cream. It is really hard to not have a cheeseburger. I now can have beef, but I can't have cheese, and I can only have sea salt, and I can't have the bun. So a burger is much less fun. We had my son's birthday and a really amazing birthday cake from my favorite bakery that I did not get to eat. So that's been really hard. And also going down to Lake Powell, which is a family trip I've been on every summer since I was like 9 years old. And we all survive Lake Powell with icy cold Diet Cokes with limes in them. So not being able to drink a Diet Coke when it's 109 degrees at Lake Powell was hard. I'm going to be sipping on water a lot because I have not been very consistent in getting my 80 ounces of water a day in, and that's one thing that I need to get back on track. It was also really hard to stick to the times that I'm supposed to be eating and things like that during the summer because things are chaotic. Prepping is hard and eating every 2 to 3 hours and eating the right things. So I've done really well at not eating the foods I'm not supposed to eat. I have done, half your body weight in ounces is what I'm supposed to drink every day. So for me, that's 80 ounces. And now you know how much I weigh. But it's down from 85 ounces when I started. So, hey, there's pros and cons. Eating every 2 to 3 hours. And, I'm supposed to have protein at certain time and vegetables at certain times. And that's been hard over the summer. And so I'm trying to get back into my schedule of that. So I'm going to be drinking water and eating half a pork chop, and I'll try not to chew in your ears. But if I waited to eat before I got on, I would be extremely late. And I am on a fixed time today because Wednesday is early out day for my older kids at school, and I have to pick them up. So I do have a hard stop, which I need sometimes. Otherwise, I'll go. But the good news about how things have been going on this plan, as difficult as it has been, and as much as I have not stuck to exactly everything I'm supposed to be doing, getting all the supplements at the right time, getting the food in at the right time. We retested blood work last week and got the results today, and they look really good. And I'm really glad because if I wasn't seeing changes, it would be hard to stick with. But my cortisol levels, which were so low that my body wasn't even producing the enzyme that produces cortisol. And I was basically living in adrenaline fight or flight 24 hours because my body couldn't make cortisol. So it would do adrenaline instead. My cortisol levels have gone up. They're not quite up to where they need to be, but they are trending in the right direction. My bad cholesterol has gone down by about 45 points. My good cholesterol didn't go down, so that's great. My overall inflammation levels went from being extremely high to in normal ranges, which is huge, not only for my inflammatory responses, but also for heart health in general. Other things that we're looking at are trending in the right direction. So far it's going great. We didn't get, there's one more test result that hasn't come back yet that I'm really eager to see. And that's the test specifically for autoimmune antibodies, the anti-nuclear antibody titer tests. We don't have those results yet. So I'll be interested to see what happens with that. In general, I am feeling better. I have more energy. I'm sleeping better at night. I'm actually tired at 11 when I go to bed. I am still taking sleeping pills, but I'm not tired all day long and needing a nap all day. So things are trending in the right direction, and I'm hopeful that they're going to go well with that. So, yeah, it's amazing that when we fuel our bodies correctly, I've been able to test some new foods and continuing to do so. I'm starting to add in some exercise, some moderate level exercise. Again, all things I got to figure out with my schedule. I'm going to mute for a second and take a bite of my pork chop here because I'm hungry. And try not to show that to you because I have a feeling like taking a big bite out of a big chunk of meat is going to attract not the people I want to this channel. So, I have some things to open. First is this baby that I bought for myself. And then I hid away under my bed because I wasn't supposed to be spending money. And I don't want my husband to see that I bought it. But I'm getting it out now. And I'm very excited about it. New Stanley Quencher in my favorite color. So I'm excited about my new Stanley. This is the first one I've had of the second version, and I will say it definitely is lighter than the ones that I have. And it has this lovely thing to hold straw in here, which is the problem with the first version of the Stanley Quencher, which my other ones are the original version. So I needed to upgrade. They've been out for like a year and I haven't upgraded. So I'm proud of my restraint. But the minute I saw they had this darker purple, I had to buy it. So yay for me, new Stanley. And now this made me cry. So I think you know what this one is. I'm going to not show the address, but I got this lovely envelope and it made me feel so official. And I love it so much. This is from Shima. And I can't decide where to put it. But I love it. It goes right along with my intro. I want to put it here, but I don't know. I can't decide. I have a couple of options. So I could put it there. I got a new laptop cover and I could put it on my laptop, but I do take my laptop with me to work and put it on the front desk. And so I got like kind of a new cover that was like kind of professional looking. And I feel like I have to keep that a little bit professional. But the other place I'm thinking about putting it is on my iPad case. And I think it would fit really well on here. This is just like a pleather, so I'm fairly certain it would stick well. So I think this is where I'm going to put it. Because I would put it on my computer, but I'm the office manager and it's like the front desk computer when I'm there because we don't have another front desk computer. And I just I don't know. I think it would be okay. I haven't decided if I want to put it on my laptop or on my iPad, but it's going on one of those places. And as soon as I decide, I'll let you know. I think I'm leaning towards my iPad because I just got a new case for it and it's kind of boring. It's pretty color, but it is like the perfect color of my logo. As you can see, it matches so nicely. And then this one has the other colors. So I think that's what I'm going to do. It's a hard decision. It's my first gift. And yes, it made me cry because the fact that you would take the time and your resources to make something for me. Just me, little one person with my 100-something subscribers in little small town Utah. I don't know. I was very touched. You like it on the iPad? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. As my iPad, like, yeah, I take it for work and stuff, but like, it's also, I mean, it is used primarily for work. I have digital planners and my notebooks and all that kind of stuff that I use it for, and sometimes use it as a second screen when I'm at home because my laptop is tiny. And on the list of things to purchase is going to be a new desktop computer. And then we need one for the office as well for the front desk. But we just started 2 new employees, which is amazing. And they're both employees that will bring money into the business, which is great because that gives us a little more flexibility and means that my husband can take time off work and we can still get a paycheck. And we needed it. Like, we have one major goal of our clinic is to make sure that people do not have to wait primarily for testing. We have our therapy wait list, it just gets longer and longer and longer. And that's the next thing is I need to hire someone who's doing full-time therapy. But at least for assessment, there is nothing worse than when your child's in crisis in particular, or you are in crisis, of course, as an adult. But if you've gotten to be an adult without a diagnosis of ADHD or autism, like, you can make it through a few extra months because you've been doing it that long. When your kid is in crisis, when they're struggling at school, when you don't know what's going on, when you're dealing with big behaviors, you cannot wait 12 to 18 months. You can't make 6 months. You need those answers. So it has always been my top priority for our clinic, and I know my husband's as well, to make sure that people can get in a reasonable amount of time. So those additional employees make it so that, because we were starting to schedule testing about 3 months out, and that is like, I don't like it. I want people to get in within about 6 weeks for their actual testing appointment. So, like, coming for the intake and your testing appointments within 2 to 3 weeks from that, and your feedback appointment within 2 to 3 weeks from your testing session. That is our goal. So the 2 employees that we brought on are going to help us to continue with that goal. However, dealing with billing and insurance means that cash flow doesn't come at the same rate. So spending freeze. And that's more information than any of you ever needed. But the honest truth of business is sometimes you have to grow before you can necessarily afford the growth in order to keep growing, in order to be able to afford that growth. So new computer has to wait. Long story short. But we have been getting some really good feedback from clients. Of course, the ones that are happy are never the ones that go write Google reviews. It's always like the one person out of 200 that is pissed about something. And usually it's something unreasonable. And they're the ones that write Google reviews, not the ones who call and gush about how amazing we are and how grateful they are to have found us. But oh well. A few other exciting things coming up. There is a conference coming up. I'm going to see if I can find the flyer for it and pull it up. 1 second. There's a conference coming up that we are going to be presenting at. If I remember how to do this. Find the flyer. Share screen. And I want this one. So, doesn't look very good. Let me see if I can. You can kind of see the whatever. Okay, so this is a conference presented by NAMI Utah. NAMI is a National Association of Mental Illness, and their Utah division, and a good, awesome friend of mine that I've done some collaborations with on a few other things, Cheryl Cardall. She's on there. That middle row, they're putting on this conference for, she does a podcast called Fight Like a Mother that's all about parenting kids with mental health needs. They're putting on this conference, Fight Like a Mother mental health conference, for parents and community members of that work with kids. And we are presenting on executive functioning, as well as the other presenters here. It's a really awesome group of presenters, and I believe there are a few more because I've seen them post some on their Instagram that I do not see on here. So the good news about this for you who are watching is that it will also be available virtually. So it's an in-person and virtual tickets are available. So if that looks like something you're interested in, it's extremely affordable. And I will put the link in the chat to registration. If I can find it. It is on the NAMI Utah website. So NAMIUT.org is the website. And then I will find the link to the conference page, or you can read a little bit more about it. Also, if you're on Instagram, you can go to Fight Like a Mother Conference on Instagram, and they are putting up descriptions of all the speakers and topics and more information. But here is the link. I'll put it in the chat and I will put it in the description. No, this is the same one that I posted on Instagram. Same conference. But it is available. There are virtual tickets available. So that is in the chat. And then figure out how to. I'll add it to the description at the end of the stream because I need to figure out how to do that. Add conference link to description. Okay. All right. So I got about 30 minutes where I have to leave to pick up kids, although my son is texting me now saying he's to come pick him up, but no. Hold on. I'm going to respond to him real quick. I think they do lunch at the end of the day on their short days, so he's probably like, oh, it's lunch. I'm going to have to add that into my schedule that he can be done earlier. Ugh. My son started high school, and I have not figured all of that out. I guess technically he was in high school last year, but our ninth graders still go to the middle school because there are 3,000 students in the high school and just grades 10 through 12. It's insanity. So as far as today topics, I have a couple of articles. So we can pick from one that we can read real quick and go through. I can find it. So let me know which one sounds more interesting to you. Let's see. I am a professional. I am eventually going to be more prepared. So one is about back to school supplies that are good for kids with ADHD, kids and adults, really. It's some of them are things I really like, and as we go through it, I would add what would be on my list of things to make sure you have for back to school. And then there's an article called "If You Finish College, Then You Can't Have ADHD, and Myths That Divert Adults from Getting Through ADHD Evaluations." That's another one I want to go over at some point. I think it was really good. And then I have another article about ADHD in women. So, which would you prefer? I'll put up a little poll so I can figure that out. In here. How do I do that? Put up a poll. Let's see. Not in there. Maybe I won't put up a poll because that's not what I wanted. Because I don't know how. Okay, so you got 3 choices. We've got women and ADHD. We've got myths about ADHD, or we have back to school supplies. What do you want to talk about? I think to do a poll, I have to not be in StreamYard. I think I have to be in the other window. Oh, I'm all about the stationery. So let's talk about back to school things that you might not think. I mean, legitimately, let me just show you this. Okay. I was really good this year and I didn't buy any more composition notebooks. They are my weakness when they are on sale at back to school. But this is just one of my boxes in my storage closet of blank, brand new composition notebooks. Because they come on sale. You walk into Walmart and they're like 10 for $5. So I have to get 10. I was good. I didn't buy any this year, and I got a couple out of the box because my kids did need a couple. Charlotte, come. Come. She's a ditch. And then if you were to look around my office right now, I have stacks and stacks. Good girl. Let's see. In this drawer, I have these, which I told myself, I found them at TJ Maxx and they were a really good deal. I told myself I was getting them for gifts for people, but I haven't been able to part with them because I love them. But no, I haven't written a thing in any of them. I have a stack of these magnetic. They're great for grocery lists on the fridge. Do I have anything magnetic in my office? No. Do I still have 5 of these in my drawer? Yes. Then I have a variety of to-do notepads. I like this one. I have this one. I rarely ever use these because all my to-do notes go on my iPad, but I have them all. I've got all the Post-its. These are just my desk drawer pens. It doesn't include this pouch of pens or this pouch of pens and other supplies. I'll show you what I have in here because it's awesome. Or all of the pens that are in my cup here. So yeah, all the pens and all the stationery. These are my favorite pens. They have them in all the colors. I love the way they write. And I buy one of these big things of pens like twice a year, even though I already have a million of them. I just love them. These my husband got for me in my Christmas stocking this last year. They're all right. They're like felt tip. I usually prefer a roller like jelly. Oh, do I need friction pens? Do I need friction pens? I love those too. These I get for my kids for school too, because my oldest in particular hates writing with pencil. He has dysgraphia. All my kids have dysgraphia, but he does not like using pencil. But like for things like math, he has to be able to erase. So I get him the erasable pens and that helps. But he has a pen that he prefers too. Don't forget my Sharpie stash, all the colors, because they had them at Costco in the big ones and the little ones, all the colors. Then I got markers, colored pencils. These are mine. Kids have their own. I also have more pens and writing things over here. It's a problem. Oh, I haven't even gotten over the drawers over here that also have more notebooks. I know that you can erase them. One problem I have had with them before is the thing that makes it so that you can erase with the friction pens is the friction creates heat. If you leave them in a hot car in the summer, the ink erases. You can get it back if you put it in the freezer, but you can also like use a hot blow dryer and that erases them. They're kind of magic. I do like them a lot though. But these Papermate Ink Joys, just write. They're the ones that I like the best. They write the best. So let's talk about, let me pull up this article. Let's talk about back to school supplies. What do you need and what do you not need for kids with ADHD? I think these things also apply to adults with ADHD. So let me share. Where is it? This one. Share. Okay, back to school supplies. Every student with ADHD needs. Okay, wiggle seat cushion. These are excellent. When I was a teacher, I would have a stash of them. There's a few different styles that I like. There's these round ones. Some of them, they're like bumpy on one side or smooth on the other. Some kids really like the input of the bumpy, and some kids that drives them crazy. There's also a wedge style. A lot of my kids like that. It drove me crazy because it kind of puts them up at an angle. I don't know why they like that, but some of them do. Let's see if I can find the wiggle. Probably should put this in a different screen that I'm not sharing. Yeah, that would be best. Yeah, so it looks kind of like this. Now I can put this over here. Right, these wedge ones. A lot of kids really like those. Other good wiggly type seats. I like the bands that go around their chairs. There's a couple of different styles. So there's the kind that look kind of just like an exercise band and stretch over. Those are okay. You can also just use like a bungee cord, wrap it around and hook it around itself. That works great too. The ones that look kind of like elastics, they're all right. But they tend to break. So the ones that I really like are called bouncy bands. They are much sturdier. Let's see if I can find the website. You can find these on Amazon too. Bouncy Band. Bouncyband.com is the website for the company that makes them. So they look like this. They are much sturdier. They're a lot tighter. So for younger kids, they're maybe not that great, but my 7-year-old loved it in first grade. This goes around the leg of the chair, so it's much more sturdy and stable. They're a little tricky to get on at first because that band is really tight, but they work really well. So if you got a kid who wants to like take it from class to class, then get the kind that's more like an exercise band that they could put around their chair. If they're going to be in the same classroom all day, these are great. Or if you're looking to get some for your classroom, these are awesome. Other types of wiggle seats. So this kind is great. However, if you got a kid who has a lot of behavior problems, they're easy to throw around a room. This schooloutfitters.com has great stuff on it. These are amazing. They're like a little chair holder for the exercise ball. A lot of teachers will get the exercise ball, but then you have like something that rolls all around your classroom. This basically turns it into an actual chair. Those are great. These have little legs on the bottom, but still not ideal. But yeah, you can get these little, let's see. Those are my favorite seat options. Now, these, if you were a kid like me in the 80s, you may remember the pogo ball. It looks like this. These work really great for under the desk wiggly feet in a classroom. Again, more for younger kids. Your high schoolers not going to want to take this around, but for under your desk as well. I like something to do with my feet, and I'm short. So like even right now, like if I put my chair down to where my feet are flat on the floor, I'm like really low on where I need to be up higher for typing, but then my feet like hang. I'm short and it hurts my hip. So having something to put my feet on is great. And this is a great little fidget. So those are the little chair things that I would recommend in addition to this wiggle seat cushion that Attitude Med suggests. Okay, whiteboard calendar is the next one that they say. So calendars. I'm really bad at putting things on our physical calendar. We have a great one from Rad and Happy that I love. It's huge. The paper's really thick. It's beautiful. But I keep all of our schedules in Google Calendar because if it's not in the Google Calendar, it doesn't exist. And taking time monthly to put it onto the physical calendar is tricky for me. However, my kids really appreciate it when I do because they do not like surprises. They like to know what their schedule is. So it's not like, oh, surprise, you have art class tonight. Like they like to know what's happening. And when I just spring an appointment on them at the last minute, they can get really mad. So I don't prefer dry erase. I've used dry erase. I've used physical paper calendars. I prefer like a desk calendar that I hang for space reasons and because they just get messy, the dry erase ones. And we always lose the dry erase markers and the kids are messing with it. And so, but obviously whatever works for you and your family. But as we all know, people with ADHD are time blind. We have to make time real and concrete for our kids and for ourselves. So making it physical, putting it visible, putting it in multiple places, schedules, calendars, routines, to-do lists, anything that you can make physical is going to help them be able to understand the passage of time and make it concrete. It's another reason why I use a lot of timers, which is another thing I would add to my list. If they don't have them on here, I'll show my favorite timers that are visual. Got to make time concrete. Okay, squishy pencil grips. This, I'm going to put this in the category of fidgets in general. I have had these kinds of fidgets. I also have some that are like this, but have a suction cup on the end that you can just put on the desk and kind of like play with it, flick, whatever. They're great. The ones my kids tend to like the best are the like stretchy noodles. We'll find. One problem is that several of they like these. I'm trying to figure out how to share this without sharing my zip code at the top. So I'm going to not share the Amazon page. And I'm just going to do... There's a store that has all OT toys. Find therapy shop. This is the one. Fabulous website. If you haven't found this, love it. These body sock things right here on this page. My youngest has had one since he was like 3 and he loves it. Okay, so fidgets. Show you some of my favorite fidgets. Okay, these, we all know about kind of the stress balls and things. It's good to have a collection of those on hand. You never know what you're going to like. But these noodly ones, where are they? I recommend this website with caution because we all know how much we like to buy all the things. Thinking Putty. Aaron's Thinking Putty. They have little ones and big ones. It's fantastic. My kids love it, but it's not allowed in my house anymore because it does not come out of carpet, and we got all new carpets. My kids love Thinking Putty, but too many times it got stuck in carpets and didn't come out. So we can't have it in the house anymore. Tangles are another one. This says textured metallic tan. I don't know if you, can you see my cursor? I don't know if you can see my cursor when I'm doing this. They love tangles. I have not met a kid with ADHD who doesn't love a tangle. What other ones we really like? Jewelry is great. These are the tangles. This one's like fuzzy, but this is what they look like. I'm sure you've seen them, right? So they like, you can get them up into like a little circle. They can take them apart. I don't know why they're so fun, but they really, really are. This one is a great one. You push the little balls in and you can use it like a puzzle. You can try and get the colors where they belong, but just there's a very satisfying click when you push the balls in and get them in the right spot. I'm not seeing. These pea pod ones are kind of fun. You can get almost all of these at Amazon. We have one of these globby guys. It's pretty fun too. It's very satisfying. Glitter wands are great for like a calm down corner, anti-stress stuff. They're very soothing to watch. Therapy tubing is great, stretchy stuff. Okay, here we go. Stretch. These are what I was looking for. All my kids love these. They love things that they can stretch as opposed to just like squeeze and play with. They like to stretch. Warning. My boys have figured out how to use them basically as a catapult / slingshot. They get the thing and they hook it between their legs or wrap it around their feet, and they sit up on their chair and they launch things across the room. There are times when they do that and it's great and it helps them to calm down, but there are times when it gets out of control. So beware of that if you get the stretchy noodle things. I really like a worry stone myself. I like smooth things. We also recently got a whole bunch of calm strips. They have some great ones now. I recommend getting a sample texture pack so you can figure out which textures you like, but you can stick those on all sorts of things. Calm strips are great. They have ones now that have like box breathing instructions and things on them too. Love those. My kids love these pop-it balls more than just the little like pop-it flat things. These ones are more satisfying, but they do make a noise, so you got to be careful about that. Goops and slimes and things like that. Kids love them, but again, you got to be aware of messes and carpet. So they're not always the best thing to like send with them to school, but maybe a good thing to have on hand at home if they need some chill out time. We do have one of these magnetic. They are fun too, but again, they're noisy. We have it in our little like calm down bin for when my kids are having major anxiety stuff. Other good things that you can do if you're a teacher or for your kids in their rooms or even for you at work is buy Velcro strips that you can stick on things, the adhesive back Velcro strips, and you can peel them and stick them under the underside of desk or on top of desk. They're great for just that little bit of like sensory input to help focus, and they're cheap. You can get tons of it. So yeah, those are some of our favorite fidgets, things to look at for back to school. Also, if your kid is a chewer, let's see, like if they like to chew on their shirts or on their fingers. Let's see. Let's look up jewelry. If you look up jewelry on Amazon or wherever, we get these, and they come in all kinds of shapes, textures, sizes. You can do bracelets. There's ones to go on top of pencils. There's keychain variety, or there's like necklaces they can wear. On Amazon, they have them in all different kinds of animal shapes and sizes. We got some that looked like lightsabers last year. And they could be really helpful for saving their clothing and their fingernails if you can redirect them to something appropriate to chew on. Other things that are good for that is gum for your older kids. Gum is great because it's multi-sensory, right? You get the chew, but you also get the taste and the smell, and it's very good for grounding. So I know a lot of teachers don't like gum in their classroom. Put it in a 504. But they're allowed to have gum. Now they have to be responsible with it. You know, it has to go in the trash when they're done. All that kind of stuff. But it is a 504 accommodation you could put in, is that they're allowed to have gum. Erasable pens. We talked about these. Erasable pens are so great. The friction pens. They come in a couple of varieties. There's this style or this clicky style. Can you see them? They are erasable pens. Like I mentioned, my kids all have dysgraphia, but one kid in particular hates the feeling of pencils on paper, and he doesn't like that it like smears on his hand when he writes and smears on the paper. It's a big problem, but there are some times when they need to be able to erase, like math in particular is a big one. So having a stash of erasable pens is a great idea. Sensory strips, we just talked about those. I'll show you the ones I like on Calm strips. You can get many of these kind of knockoff versions on Amazon, but these are the originals, and they have some that I really like. This texture, so they have a few different textures, and they are doing a sale right now, so that's always good. I like these Calm Countdown ones. This is the 5 senses kind of grounding technique. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. So it's good to have that reminder. This all texture mystery kit would be the one I recommend first. It comes with the carrying tag. My kids just picked a couple of textures and they put that on their backpack, but it makes a great keychain too. That's the way you can test each of the textures and figure out which ones you like. All of my kids like the pattern pebbles texture the best. I like smoother things. Soft sand is just bumpy enough without bugging me. I don't like the river rocks. It's too bumpy, but some people like more input. So, that's a good way to test out all the textures. These are kind of their breathing ones. My kids like these banana ones because I don't know, they think bananas are funny. But you can see what they have. Lots of different styles. These strips are kind of their original one. They fit perfectly on a Chromebook or a laptop or on the back of a phone case. And they are removable. So if your kid has a Chromebook from school, it's not going to be a huge deal. They have mostly river rocks and soft sand. Those are their 2 original textures. So finding the other textures is a little trickier, but my kids liked the pattern pebbles the best. They said it felt like scales. Yeah, so Calm strips is kind of the original. I like to support the people who came up with the idea rather than always getting the Amazon knockoff if I can. But sometimes you just need the cheaper version, and that's fine too. But they're great little tools. All right. Index cards with binder rings. What are they saying? Taking notes, creating flashcards, and preparing presentations. Okay. This is not something my kids would ever use. Ever. Never. There's plenty of apps that you can use to make flashcards, and quiz yourself on things. A lot of people are handwriting out people, but my kids all have dysgraphia. They would rather die than handwrite something out. I would have used something like this like crazy. This was my method of studying. If I had to like grad school, all those things, I use note cards like crazy. I probably still would now if I needed to study for something. But my kids would never. So transparent highlighter tape. Okay, so highlighter tape is different than a highlighter because you can remove it, but I found these really cool things that I do want to show you. I'm going to remove this screen for a second. All right, so I'm working on an ADHD parenting group book study sort of thing, and I am a person who writes in my books. Pens. I did not see this comment. Sorry, how easy it is to clean the jewelry. It's easy. It's silicone. Most of them are made of silicone, and so they wipe clean really easily. Okay, so these are what I found. I have colored ones and clear ones. And then you can get them in different sizes and shapes. But this, I like to write in my books and take notes in books and things like that. However, you can't do that in textbooks for school, at least not until you are in college and you're purchasing your own textbooks. And also, sometimes the things that I want to highlight will change from reading to reading or from time to time. These, a little transparent
sheets. And try and find something I can put it on so you can see how it works. Love these things. So they're transparent, so you can stick it on the page, right? So you can't even see it. And then a thin Sharpie works best to write on them, but pens work too. They just kind of will smear sometimes, so you're gonna have to test out what pens you like. But you can write on that, and then you can take it off. I'm using this like crazy as I prep for this parenting group that I'm doing, as because I have got color-coded notes for which weeks we're going to talk about which things. You can also get them in a bunch of different colors, which is why this highlighting tape reminded me of it. Because it can work like a highlighter. See? Love these. Also love all the little multicolored tabbies. And I have them in a gazillion colors. Again, color coding textbooks and things like that. So these, if you need to highlight like a larger piece of text, or you want to be able to like write something, like take a note in your margins. That's the word I'm looking for. Those are great. The little thin ones, they work great as little like tabs for pages, but you can also use them to highlight text. So love these. I love highlighters too. I mean, listen, when I was getting ready to do this course, I got highlighters in every color and then little tabby things that match the color so that I can color code by week for this thing. We color code things, right? And yes, I always go overboard for planning, but love these things. See if I can remember what they're called, if I can find them. I wasn't looking for them. I was looking for just the little tabby things. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to find them for you. I was just looking for tabs and highlighters, and then I found these. Okay, they're called transparent sticky notes. And they're freaking awesome. And I just got them on Amazon. Transparent sticky note pads. You can get them in square. You can get them in 2x3. And I love them. Let's see what Attitude Mag tells us we should get next. Chalkboard signs. Commemorate the first and last day of school. Okay. I know a ton of people do this, and it's cute. And if I had done it from when all of my kids were young, I would do it every year. But I've never done this. I do take a picture of my kids on our front porch every year on the first day of school. But that's it. And I hate chalk. So I would never do this. Now, chalkboard pens I can do, but I hate the feel of chalk. I would not do this. Whiteboard maybe. I don't know. People think those are cute. I think they're unnecessary. And that's all they have here. So my other recommendations for back to school. And then I've got to leave in about 5 minutes. My high schooler is losing it that I haven't come to pick him up yet. Planners. A good planner that you buy into or that the kiddo that you're using it with buys into is vital. Kids hate using planners, but if you can learn this skill when they're younger, it's a lifelong skill. They think they're going to be able to keep track of everything in their brain, and they can't. And so you are going to have to set up systems to encourage them to do it, and find someone at the school that can help you on the other side, because they will listen to them more than they will listen to you, and there has to be accountability for it. But finding a planner that works is a must. Some sort of backpack organization system. One of my kids just likes the standard like folders like this. Sorry, my kid is calling me. Hold on 1 second. calling me. Okay, sorry. He likes just one of these, a different color for every class. I like to write in them on one. This is an assignment record from a few years ago, but so ignore the pages in here. I like to just write on one side, like bring home, on the other side, turn in, so that it's easy for them to see when they have things to turn in. That's a big problem with people with kids with ADHD, is that back and forth to school. My other son likes a binder. Accordion file folders can be really good with one for each class, so they can just quickly slip those like loose sheets of paper in there, but they need some sort of something to keep them from just shoving all of those papers in the bottom of their backpack, because they will forget about them, they will get destroyed, and it's a problem. These are also really great for that. I use these for me for work. They're just little plastic file folders, so I can just toss things in, because sometimes that extra step of opening a folder and putting things in, opening a binder, getting to the right binder is more than the kid is going to do. So an accordion style would be my ideal choice, but none of my kids have bought into that system. So you have to find a system that works for them, take them with you to the store and show them some options and let them pick, and then help them set it up. And you got to help them follow through. And we'll talk about that more in the future as far as how to teach those skills to your kid, and how to help them form those habits. What other back to school things do I make sure that we do every year? An organized backpack. So if they're using the same backpack from previous years and it's still in good shape, great. Clean that thing out and start fresh. There's going to be who knows what in the hidden corners of your backpack. And this is a great tip for adults with ADHD too. This is a good time of year to clean out all your bags. I know you have more than one. I have 4 just in this room. Get all your bags, clean them out. You will be amazed at what you'll find in there. Reorganize. Don't buy any more pens. I'm a bad example, until you take inventory of what you have, because I guarantee you have a stash in a bag somewhere that you forgot about. So yeah, that's my kind of tips on shopping for school supplies and back to school. It's something you have to kind of do ongoing, help your kids stay organized, clean out those backpacks the same day every week or the same day every month. Yeah, bags. I'm telling you, this is my newest one, my current work bag. I've got a camera bag over there. I have a bog bag. I have another bag that's very similar to this, and then I have 3 upstairs. I like them. I like to start fresh with a new one. I don't like to clean out the old ones, and it's a problem. So that is my challenge for you all this week until we meet again, is to find at least 2 of your bags and clean them out. I always need a new bag. I always think, it's just like we do with planners, with notebooks, right? Oh, if I buy the new thing, then I'm finally going to get, I will be organized because I have the thing that will organize me. Fortunately, I still have the same brain, so the organization doesn't stick and we have to restart. But the challenge for the week is to clean out at least 2 of your bags. Start fresh for the school year, whether you have kids going back to school, whether you're going back to school yourself, whether you're doing a new job, whether your job requires back to school. This is the time of year that it's great. It's a transition time. We're going to head into a new season. Summer's over. The chaos gets a little better. And it's a good time to regroup and start over. So with that, I'm going to roll the outro because I got to go pick up my kids.
It's been great being here with you today. Those of you who are live and those of you on replay crew, thank you for watching. Anything you can do to help promote the channel. I have not pleased the YouTube algorithm gods much in the last few months. I'm going to work on that with my consistency, but your likes, comments, shares, all of that really helps. I really want to get this channel up to 500 subscribers. That's my first goal. So we're at 169. We've been there for a little while, and I appreciate every single one of you. Please like, comment, and share, and let's get this out and grow this community that is so supportive and so amazing. Hi, Equality. I'm sorry that I have to go and pick up my kids, so I hope you'll watch on the replay. And next time, I think I will have made a decision about my amazing sticker from Shima and show you where I've decided to put it. Thank you all for being here. I love you. I'm glad to be back. And let's do this thing. Remember, you are not broken. You are not alone, and you're doing better than you think you are. Roll action.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This video is not a substitute for counseling, psychotherapy, medical, or mental health care. The information and advice shared here should not be used in place of any form of diagnosis, treatment, or therapy. Information provided here does not involve diagnosis or treatment of medical or mental or psychological disorders. If you feel the need for professional support, please seek a local professional in your area. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only.